All right, partner, we love the days after wins for a couple of reasons, obviously. I mean, when you put a 37-3 shellacking on an NFC division leader, that's one thing. But two, you wake up and you realize, oh, wait, it's Roquan Day. We get to revisit with Roquan Smith, Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith, powered by our friends at Cybertech. And Sarah, just rinse, recycle, repeat. He was yet again, can't miss stuff, 20-plus minute conversation. He's always generous with his time. We really appreciate him, and he's just so accommodating with not only his time, but with what he gives us. I mean, he really provides insight into the locker room, into the defense, into the culture to kind of get into what we're going to discuss here. But that was pretty fun, wasn't it?
It was very fun. I don't even want to give it away. I just want to react on the other end so people can get it organically. But I am enjoying this dictatorship, as he so perfectly put it in this upcoming interview.
You and I are looking at each other right through the virtual screen as he says that, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Before we get into it, this is exclusively sponsored, as all the post-game shows are, by our friends at Cybertech, a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm, a new way to acquire resources. Whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you find yourself interested, you'll have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started today by scanning the QR code that's in the upper right-hand side of the screen right now, or you can just go to the show notes below and send an email to the address that we have provided, again, right below in the show notes. Also in the audio-only side, it'll be in the description of this episode. Before we cut to this conversation with Agent Zero, we do want to be sure to shout out and thank two of our returning patrons. Bill Justice and Toey Faree are supporting everything we're building here inside the channel through Patreon this month. So shout out you both. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested in doing the same, visit patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Without further ado, Roquan Smith, the captain, the defensive captain of the 7-2 AFC North leading Baltimore Ravens through 9 weeks of football, catching us up on everything here inside the vault. All right, Sarah, let's bring him in. And as we do this, let's do a little bit of how it started and how it finished. This is how it began at the bank on Sunday. Oh, if only we had the audio to go along with it. Luckily, we have the guy, but that's how it started. And then how it finished, courtesy of the Ravens. Wow! All right. What did you say pregame? What was this win like? Congratulations, 7-2 now through 9 weeks of football. And I think you got to keep up these pregame antics, bro.
Yeah, no, man, it was definitely pretty sweet. And basically, during the pregame, man, I was just really getting the guys back going. It was really brings me back to a couple weeks ago when we was going over to Cleveland and whatnot. Well, I was just telling the guys, this was our turf. Like, make no mistake about it. This being our turf, and these guys are coming in. It was something along those lines to where it's like, we have to defend it by any means, and also about just earning your respect. And, making every single play one to remember, one that you'll cherish forever. And, I feel like, and if guys do that and we do that as a team, man, we're a hard team to beat. So it was along those lines, but obviously a lot more fiery and a lot more that came with it than, my chill self right now.
Yeah, we do get the chill version for sure. But, Ro, 3 points to these guys. 151 total yards to the Seahawks, picked up 2 turnovers. Roquan, you gave 6 first downs, which, I mean, they didn't even get, most people have more points than those first downs. What got into you guys? Was this, we're ticked off after we gave a couple of yards and a few points to Arizona? Where did this come from? This was insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. We was definitely a little salty on the defensive side of the ball, knowing that we had like a little letdown in the fourth quarter in the Arizona game. So we was determined, and saw a mission going forward, week in and week out, not to, you know, let those things happen and just play to our standard every single play. And I feel like, that's what we're getting across to the guys. And man, when we do, it's pretty sweet, man. And I love it too when I let my guys get some playing time. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I'm unschrapped. So that's a nice day at the office. I get to sit back, relax a little bit, watch the guys start focusing on next week. So it was pretty sweet, man. And I definitely enjoyed Darwin. Welcome to the town and sent them on back to Seattle. So it was nice.
Mrs. EDC
Well,
checking in. I think speaking for the majority of the fan base right here. Sarah, you pulled this in. So what do you got?
yeah, no, just it's the I wish it would play for us here. I guess it's not playing, but it's the old Joe Rogan when he's at the fight and everybody freaks out because it's just so nasty what they're watching. So yeah, Mrs. EDC clearly happy in showing that this Ravens defense is scary. That's just like a whoa, that scary look. And then we had to play, Ocho Cinco, Shannon Sharp. They like to have fun. They were talking about the game late last night in the nightclub. So I just want to get your reaction to everybody's reaction after we listen to Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp.
At the end of the game with a winning record. They've beaten all three by a combined score of 103-12.
You know what? Cheating. That's the only thing I can think of. The Ravens are cheating. In this day and age, in this era, the Ravens are allowing 13 points a game. This is a pass-happy, throw the ball 250 million times a game, and they're allowing teams to have 13 points a game.
Yes.
Listen to this. The people that are watching at home, to give you better context, the last two games, the Ravens have outscored the last two opponents 75-9. Let that sink in. If you playing Madden and you play somebody twice, there's no way on a video game you outscoring your last two people that you played 75-9.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone do it in real life.
Yeah.
And Ravens
and Seattle's a good team. It's not like they're
See, now what he means, it's the last two division leaders that you beat 75-9, not what they're, but how does it feel? You get now, I don't know if you're on social media much, but how does it feel having everybody talking to you about you guys like there's no stopping this defense or there's no getting through this defense?
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy when you truly think about it. And yeah, this is a pass-happy league, offense-driven league. They, want points, for the fans and, just offensive guys in general. And like I said, I look at it, as a picture as from top to bottom, starting with our D-line. I like our D-line over any offensive line in the league, first and foremost. Linebackers, I like our linebackers over any linebackers in the league. And then our secondary as a group, I like those guys over anybody in the league as well combined. So when I look at it from top to bottom like that, man, it's like, and if every single guy plays to the best of their ability, like offense we really shouldn't let people do anything. We should just control everything. It's almost like a dictatorship. We control what you do in a sense, almost. But it's about keeping that though week in and week out and holding yourself to that high standard and not allowing letdowns. And I feel like if we do that, man, the sky's the limit. But yeah, you definitely don't hear of those things, such low points and things like that. But hey, we're only 9 games in a year, so we definitely got a ways to go. And man, I'm just excited to see it just keep on going week in and week out.
I know you guys are striving for perfection, right? And so, yeah, you came in pissed off after that fourth quarter in Arizona. Sarah and we were wondering, where the heck can you find ways to improve off of this performance? I mean, yeah, you had the 50-yard, right, that allowed DK Metcalf to get loose, and we all know he's a freak of nature in space, right? Kyle Hamilton's I'm sure he went to bed when his head hit the pillow, wanted to corral that pick. But other than that, I mean, where can you find these areas? I mean, you guys are striving for perfection, and dang it, it was close. It was close.
Absolutely, man. And I look at it as they made plays. I think they had two two explosive plays. So when you look at it like that, it's always room for improvement. You're chasing perfection, even though we're imperfect and whatnot. But like when you hold yourself to such a high standard, and knowing that Mike holds us to such a high standard and want the best for every single person, on the defense. And when a guy's rooting for you like that, man, and it just makes you want to go even harder. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it, and just knowing that like it's a really good team. And if we not let complacency creep in, which I know we won't, man, the sky's the limit, and it's going to be like that week in and week out.
So, Ro, in the Ravens dictatorship that was, poor Geno Smith, ended with 13 of 28 for 157 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns, and a 49.3 quarterback rating. Woof. I've got on ESPN this morning. I see this headline: Pete Carroll defends Geno Smith after Seahawks started by Ravens. And there's a long quote here of how he had to defend him. What does that feel like when your dictatorship is the one that's putting another team in shambles?
They got to deal with that in the Pacific Northwest. We got to deal with this over here in Baltimore. So, we did what we did. Now they headed back home. I'm sure they're home now. So they can deal with it out there. And good luck to them the rest of the way. That's how I feel about that one. But I don't know what more to say on that one.
Yeah. I mean, this is the comeback player of the year, right? He plays so fundamentally sound, and they were humming. Now, he had turned the ball over a little bit going into the game. And speaking of turnovers, Geno, are you kidding me? This guy, man, he's playing possessed right now, Ro. And so all of a sudden he's got 6 interceptions through 9 weeks. We all know the story that he is. We talked about it last week with you. But for whatever reason, the ball finds him, but he finds the ball. What was it like celebrating with him?
Man, it was awesome just being out there with Geno and just knowing the adversity he's faced throughout his career. I actually just saw him earlier. Also, we was at a coat drive together, and man, it was pretty sweet. Then last night at the dinner as well, and just like his mindset, man, it's just like he's chasing it week in and week out, just saying like I just want to keep going, and like when you have that mindset, not letting complacency slip in, that's like a recipe for success right there. And I know he's definitely hard on himself day in and day out, even at practice, making mistakes and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm excited for Geno, and like seemed like, man, a ball magnet almost. So like I'm loving it though, like like what they said, Burger King or something. Like yeah, he just keep on coming. I'm a big fan. I love to see it.
So what almost never happens, and so I got to get this reaction from you. This is kind of, I'm sure, a different question you normally get, but I put out a video yesterday on that Keaton Mitchell 60-yarder. He didn't score on it but it wasn't just to watch Keaton Mitchell, because everybody saw the phenomenal run. We'll get your reaction to him in just a second in his breakout game. But Tyler Linderbaum, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to play this really quick. Send a center, a big guy that's running down the field 40 yards and using himself like a bowling ball, essentially. What is a linebacker supposed to do against a man like Tyler Linderbaum?
Hey, I'm happy he's on my team for sure, man. Like a guy with that quickness, and yeah, he actually built up like a bowling ball, honestly. Like just like compact and like and man, the guy he's gritty and like man, like I just watch him though day in and day out since I've been here. The way the guy works and just like how much he's a professional, even like so young in his career, and like day in and day out, he's just trying to get everything down to a T and like just have the guys going. And like when he get out in space, man, I think he's one of the most athletic centers in the game. Like it reminds me a lot of a younger Kelsey for sure. So I'm happy for him, and I know he's just gonna continue to keep getting better, man. And Jody got the guys going on the O-line, so I'm excited about that, but a huge fan of Linderbaum and happy he's on my team, and I don't have to be trying to beat him, beat his blocks and stuff throughout the season. Doing it in camp was enough.
Man, if he has half the career that Jason Kelsey's had to date too, he's going to be in pretty dang good shape. And, Ro, you probably know this about Tyler too, right? Like he's a country boy, kind of like yourself, from Iowa. And he's not exactly boisterous. Now, he makes his presence known in the trenches, I would imagine. But when you see him, and I don't know if you've seen the photo or some of the videos circulating, but after he drew Seattle offside with the hard count there towards the end of the first half, he gets up and he points towards the first down, right? And he's got a big, mean look on his face. it seems as if the culture in Baltimore right now, that with a capital C, is just oozing all over the place. And you're getting contributions from all three phases, but guys that aren't boisterous like Tyler, that are showing emotion like that. It really seems like you guys are just genuinely having fun, and there's a belief that you haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's the thing. We're all having fun. That's like what we always remind each other week in and week out. You know, obviously this is serious, job. This is a job at the end of the day, but you can't forget to not have fun, man. You have to have fun when you're out there because, hey, we're living the dream. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's pretty sweet. And we're living the dream while, kicking others' butt. And so I don't think anything is better than that, like imposing your will on another man in a sense. And it's pretty sweet be able to do that. And I'm just amazed at how good this team is and like how good we're gonna be, and like just gotta keep climbing that ladder. And I know every single guy expresses themselves in different ways, and I see the fiery through Linderbaum. I seen it sometimes in camp, don't really say too much sometimes, but he definitely let his presence be known with his play and like just how he go about himself as a professional.
Speaking a little bit more to like the culture that's going on in the locker room, like to me, there's just so many good vibes. Like the way like OBJ celebrated Keaton Mitchell's touchdown, the way Lamar and everybody else celebrated OBJ's touchdown. Like, how does this culture and it just seems like it just feels like such good vibes. I've seen other locker rooms where they get freshened. Obviously, it helps that you're winning, but how does the culture of this locker room compare to past ones that you've been in?
Yeah, I would say honestly, first and foremost, it just starts with a group of like just good dudes, and that's hats off to EDC and everybody under that umbrella, from upstairs, just bringing in like actually like genuinely like good dudes that don't care about who gets the success in this, who gets the notoriety, and things like that. More so, just cares about winning and like each other. And like when you have a team that's built like that and just want the best for one another, it's I don't know what more you can like ask for a selfless team and guys that's willing to put everything on the line for one another. Because I tell the guys every week, I'm willing to put it all on the line, day in and day out, twice on Sundays, regardless of the situation, circumstances, or whatever. And like we can't let anything phase us at the end of the day. And there's gonna be adversity, but we got to look it square in the face. Chin up, chest out, as I always say. And when we have that type of perspective and these type of guys in the locker room who don't mind, being the guy that maybe not going to make the play on this, but setting it up for someone else so we can all be successful. Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's going to be the 2023 for Baltimore Ravens defense. It's not going to be, this person and that person. So when you look at it from that perspective, and most guys know when one gets credit and we're all going to get notoriety at the end of the day. And the guys believe that, and we're confident in each other and all of our abilities and, from the coaching staff on down. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it, honestly.
Who's been waiting for his number to be called, and Sarah just mentioned it a little while ago, Keaton Mitchell, the undrafted rookie running back who waited, and it came on Sunday, Ro. How about it? 9 carries, 138 yards, that touchdown, which OBJ made sure to preserve that special football for him. And you got to go all the way back to the early 2000s, like father, like son. The Ravens account put it up. Anthony Mitchell, the father of Keaton, was a former Super Bowl winning Baltimore Raven, and it's in the family. But, going up against this guy as long as you have these last several months, and he comes in as an undrafted rookie, right? Shows up and shows out in the preseason, then is dealing with that shoulder that forces him to be on IR for a chunk of the beginning of the year. Did you feel like this was just a ticking time bomb ready to explode as soon as he got his chance?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Like I think back to OTAs back in the springtime when I'm coming out there in the springtime, getting going in the springtime, making sure my hammies, everything, everything's moving well. And then I see this guy. I heard about him from our position coach. Zo was like, yeah, man, this guy here, high 4.2, something like that, 4.3 speed, speed like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then, man, he end up doing a wheel route one time, and I was like, the angle I took on it, I was like, yeah, this guy's skating. You got to get your body on him, and the way he was just bouncing it sometimes in camp on our defense and stuff, and how quickly he was getting to the edge, and I was like, this dude has some elite skills. And like, he showed me some things, honestly, in the game I haven't quite seen, if I'm being 100% honest. Like how he was actually, being patient, hitting it in between the holes and not just like bouncing and things of that nature. So I told him after the game, bro, I was really impressed. Keep it going. You just scratching the surface and whatnot. So I think he's definitely a special way, and I'm sure Monk gonna definitely find ways to feature him in the offense. And it's pretty sweet when you have a stable like that with Gus, him, Jay Hill, those guys, man. So I'm just excited that I don't have to be chasing him around on Sunday and stuff, because I'm sure after a couple plays, man, you'll get very winded with speed of that nature. And like, man, it seems like he don't go down and he hides. Seems like he hides in little holes and things like that, almost like a foxhole, and then somehow he pops out. So it's pretty sweet though, and I'm just happy to be a part of it and on the team with him, honestly.
That's what I thought too. I thought he was going to be a bounce guy that would hit the edges, but he went up through the tackles. Ooh. And I said on our show last night, like it would be like these trenches of big bodies, and then somehow this fast dude would come out of it. And I'm like, how did that just happen? I was very impressed with him going between the tackles. So turning the page, Roquan, gonna meet the Browns again. This is another team that leads with their defense. Cleveland is number 1 in yards per game. Ravens are just behind them, number 2, but the Ravens are number 1 in points per game, and they're number 3. For them, their fans, it's kind of like, well, we lost to Deshaun Watson right before we were about to play the Ravens, so maybe they're thinking we get to throw that out. This is like a new offense with Deshaun. So number 1, is this another opportunity to prove that you are the best defense, not them? And number 2, how does Deshaun Watson's presence change things on their offense?
Absolutely. I got a great deal of respect for Watson and the way he plays the game. I haven't really gotten a chance. I'll actually watch it today, their game from this past Sunday, but I just seen like some of the numbers and stuff. The numbers looked pretty solid and whatnot from the offensive side. And yeah, I know definitely with him being in there, he's a threat, throw it deep, definitely featuring his guy Coop and whatnot. And as well as he's a threat pulling it down and taking off. But, it won't be anything that we haven't seen before or went up against before. So we'll be very excited about this opportunity. And like I always say, make no mistake about it, it's our home. It's our home turf. So like I say every week, we're home. We got to defend it by any means necessary. And we got invaders coming to town. So what are you going to do? And I'm looking myself in the mirror definitely every day, and I know what I'm going to do. So, and I know what each and every guy in the locker room plans to do as well. And, everybody has a plan, until the plan don't go as planned. So, but we'll definitely be excited, and I'm excited about welcoming those guys. I don't really care too much about their defense. I'm just more so focused on our defense and everything that we can do, because, those guys are going to come in here pissed off, and rightfully so, after the last game, because it's a totally new game, totally new week. But we're excited for the challenge, and, we can't wait to look it in the face. Chin up, chest out.
How about my little 2 cents here for your pregame coming up Sunday, right? You're not going to the dog pound. They're coming to you. They're coming to the bank. How about bank robbers are coming to the bank, and you got to be your teller. You got to put on your hat and take care of business.
Absolutely. Or what I'll do, I'll just close the bank down. The hours are closed, and then we decide when we open back up the bank. How about that?
All right, we've gotten somewhere here. This is going to be Sunday's pregame show, so we don't have to guess. We don't have to play a guessing game this time around, right, Sarah?
That's right. All right, well, let's finish up. We got to let Ro here go, but we'll just get a couple of questions here. Let's see here. I actually like this one. How has Kyle Van Noy helped the defense since joining early this season?
Honestly,
that's from Andy. Sorry, I forgot to say it's from Andy Chambliss. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, KV, man, he's been out there, a great veteran presence. Like the guy, man, he comes to work day in, day out. I don't hear the guy make excuses. The guy just come in, work 10, 11 years. I don't know how many years this is for KV, but like you wouldn't know it. And like, he's just like a guy that's just trying to have fun out here and just enjoying the game. And like, just bringing over his experience, his expertise, things he's seen. And I think it's been just a great addition for the OLB room, as well as the defense, with his leadership and knowledge of ball. And I think he's a really smart football player.
We'll wrap up with this one from Kelrick. What is the Dr. Rush impact on the players? He's referring to the outside linebackers coach, Chuck Smith. We know you're in the linebackers room. You're working with Zach, right? But the follow-up question here is, do other positions profit from Dr. Rush? And we know that he's one of the specialists that they brought in this offseason, Row. It's your first season working with him. He's renowned within the outside linebacker community, as you know. What's his impact been like in year one?
Yeah, man, Chuck, great deal of respect. I've been knowing Chuck since I think I was in college or whatever. And it was crazy, like just seeing guys when I was in college go train with him, my first couple of years in the league, like guys training with him and whatnot. So he's definitely well respected in the pass rush community, the things that he can like get guys to do, and like how like he just pushes guys, demand the best from his guys day in and day out. Man, I have a great deal of respect for Chuck and the energy he brings every day out there to practice, like, get guys going, call it like 892, that's what I call them in a sense. Maybe I'll tell you about that on another day. But yeah, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And then with him and Weave in there, man, I got a great deal of respect for Weave as well, being able to, get the guys going and, getting the guys where they need to be, and Chuck getting the guys going as well. So I think it's a great combination with those two guys being together in the room. So I'm happy that, they're on our side, and like the expertise that they both have, is paying off very well for us. But we're just getting started, and we all know that as a defense, as well as the OLBs, and like, we're getting everybody back healthy and things of that nature. So look out.
Fantastic. Week 10, man, go attack it. We know you will. Thank you so much for your generosity as always with your time, and we'll talk to you soon, Ro.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I just genuinely enjoy hearing from the guy. He's happy. He's a go-getter. He obviously isn't satisfied, even though, 2 plays? That's all they have to improve on this week after that dominant performance. Always a joy to speak to Zero.
And look at you. You had me cracking up with your bank and the tellers and all of that. And it was like a little brainstorming session to maybe help him out with his next pregame speech that, he's going to shut it down. We're shutting it down. We're not letting you out. So I love it. He's like, we got invaders coming, dictatorship. He's always so good. But I also enjoyed his insight on Keaton Mitchell, that, he admitted that even he didn't quite know how much Keaton had. Yeah. And to be honest, and I thought John Harbaugh was pretty honest. They were like, did you not make a trade in part because of Keaton? And Harbaugh was like, not really. Like, we liked him, but it was more because of like opportunity cost and all that kind of stuff. And no, so it sounds like so many have been excited about him, including the Ravens. I mean, it's not like Roquan wasn't excited or Harbaugh wasn't excited. We weren't excited, but I don't even know that we knew to what level. And I liked that Roquan was honest about that. He's like, I didn't even know he could do some of the stuff that he did. Yeah, no, and he even kind of admitted that a couple times at practice early on, that speed, that 4.2, 4.3 speed had him shaking a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, talk about respect, and we know it's early. We get it. Cleveland's going to have to adjust, right, based on the tape that they watched this week. But what a great start. And he's certainly picked up right where he left off. By the way, I saw on Twitter that it was his mother's 53rd birthday that day. Oh. Okay. And she asked for 53 yards. And what he gave her 138. Yep. 138. He more than doubled that. So that it's just, yeah, I love the Tyler Linderbaum insight, right? They're both country boys. That parallel was cool. But the dictatorship is without question a takeaway. The bank is going to be hilarious to see whatever he does pregame wise with his speech on Sunday. And just overall, they're striving for perfection, and they flirted with it. The bottom line is they flirted with it on Sunday against Seattle, and yet he's still unsatisfied. Yeah, that was my thing. And, I'm a big mentality person, like, in order to like overcome all the adversity that it was guaranteed to come in every football season. It's just, you always have to look above the current situation that you're in. And for him, when he said, we're imperfect human beings, but we chase perfection, that to me is it. Like, you have to almost think that perfection is attainable, because that's the only way you become great. That's the only way to do it. And so, like you said, they were close to only give up 3 yards, really 2 big plays. And so, like, It's like, okay, let's just keep chasing perfection. Let's see if we can get a shutout next week. Let's see if we give 0 big plays. Like that's what you, because again, we asked, we were like, so what do you even look for to improve on at this point? And he's like, you can't stop searching. You can't. There's stuff there, then we're gonna find it, and then we're gonna figure out how to even improve on that.
And that's what's so special about this team, because they're through 9 weeks of football, and yet that's the mindset. And that speaks to the culture. That speaks to the belief that's inside those walls right now. And in a way, and I saw your tweet, it certainly does feel like 2019 in a sense, but it almost feels like it's a little bit of an uptick. Yeah, they won 12 in a row. Yeah, it was Lamar's MVP season, right? And everybody's, of course, the classic overreaction to this is, well, what was special about Lamar yesterday? I'm just looking at the box score, and his numbers passing weren't great. 21 of 26, 187 passing yards. That's not going to do it in a pass-happy league. Okay, you didn't watch the game, bro, or gal, whoever's saying that. And so anyway, it's just that there really is something special that's brewing here, and it's just going to be a matter of, hey, not peaking too early, staying healthy throughout the war of attrition, and continuing to do what they do, because I think they are actually more talented than they were in 2019 personnel-wise.
That's exactly it. That's where I feel like the vibes of the 2019 season I was feeling is more that like you're done by the fourth quarter. You're done by the beginning of the fourth quarter, and everybody is so encouraging and it's so happy, and everybody's eating and this and that. That to me is the 2019 vibes. Obviously, we're going to want a better sequel in 2013 come the postseason, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But to your point, this definitely feels like a more complete team.
Yep.
This feels like a more complete team. You have the running game. You have the same quarterback who's playing at an MVP level, doesn't have the same touchdown passes, but obviously it's not as needed, and that may come one game. But his receiving core is much better, and this defense feels better also. This defense feels just with Roquan leading the way, it just feels like a Ray Lewis led defense. That's the way it feels like to me. And I'm not shy about comparing it to that. Now they have to finish in the postseason just like the offense does, but this feels like a more talented, complete team at this point in the season.
Yeah, and you don't have to be shy, because statistically, some of those categories are mirroring each other from those years. So at least through 9 weeks, which is just crazy. Today's latest episode with Roquan Smith, as you guys know, is exclusively sponsored by our friends at CyberTech, a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. We're talking about a new way to acquire resources. Whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, CyberTech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and you don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, CyberTech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within a 48-hour period. CyberTech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you're intrigued, you'll have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the CyberTech team for a virtual introduction. You can get that process started today by scanning the QR code in the upper right-hand corner of this screen. Or if you're on the audio-only side of things, send an email to the address that we have included in the show notes below. Partner, anything close for you before we jump?
No, I'll just say this. Our overreaction morning vault come Tuesday morning is going to be packed. Everybody's talking about the Ravens nationally, locally, everywhere. Hard not to. So it's going to be fun to get into the reaction to what the Ravens just did to the Seahawks.
Everybody's talking about him. We never even mentioned this during the post-game live stream because of an abundance of content. But how about the makeup call from CBS? We go from the Z team to the A team. And what does the A team do throughout the entire 3+ hour telecast? Gush, to use our favorite word. They gushed all over the Ravens. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. It was something else. And you're right. The national scene is being dominated by the Ravens right now, even though there is a lot of conversation about Dallas choking. Choking is a strong word, but Dallas losing to Philadelphia. We know the Cowboys are always going to control the narrative just in terms of being America's team. Anyway, we all good?
We're good.
All right, you're right. Tuesday's morning vault is going to be jam-packed. Probably not going to be anywhere near that 30-minute threshold, but maybe that'll make you happy. Who knows? You guys are the best. Hit us up via email at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. We'd love to hear feedback from you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and like this video if you enjoyed the content. Thanks to CyberTech for believing in what we're building here in Baltimore.